Hey, you guys. Take two. Hey, you guys. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of this Piscean Reports. How you guys doing today? Hopefully, as always, you are having a sensational day. For those of you new to my channel, welcome aboard. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. I decided to be on the video. I wasn't going to at first, but what the hell, right? So, um, I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that I was thinking about. I was soaking the other day and I was meditating and all these amazing things were coming to me, and I said, you know what, let me just save that, and then I was going to share it with you guys today. Um, I was thinking about, the word or the term chosen. And I was thinking to myself, that word or that phrase is thrown around a lot. And I wanted to give you guys my take on what it means to be chosen, okay, based off of an experience that I had and a lot of people have had. It's not even just me. I found out later on in my spiritual walk that this is a thing, that there are thousands of people everywhere, hundreds of thousands for all I know, it's a big world, who have experienced the same thing, different ways, same thing, right? So I wrote down, what does it mean to be chosen? A lot of you guys, if you are religious or just coming out of religion, you would refer to it as being called. Okay. But to be chosen for me is it's like they said, it's like being called, but it's not audible, not right away. It is and it isn't, because I definitely heard some things. But in overall, to be chosen is to be, and I'll say it again, everybody's always said this, many are chosen, few answer that call. Many are called, few are chosen. I think that's how that goes. And it's like a pull. Okay, to be chosen, it's a feeling like none other. Okay, it's a pull, right? But you're being pulled in a direction you've never been in before. Most of us, we live our lives. We are in the system, in the matrix, however you want to call it. You are in the world, right? And you're waking up and you're doing and you repeat and you do and you repeat, and then one day you hear something, you feel. It's more of a feeling than anything, okay? And then, like I said, it's like you're being pulled to go a certain way, but you don't know where it's coming from. Okay, I remember you're going to say a lot of this. What is this? What is this? I don't understand. You can't explain it to anybody else because you yourself don't know what it is. You just understand that there's something, and it's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. You're being, like I wrote it down, you're being pulled in this direction that you've never been in, so you don't understand it. You can't name it. You can't put a face on. You can't, explain it. Okay. And the worst part is you're feeling that, and you have to try to tell others around you that you're feeling something. There's something happening, and it's undeniable. Those who know, when you are chosen and you are being called, okay, it's just something that you got to go to. You can't explain it. You can't explain it to anybody. You just know you got to go. Something, it's like, you know what I mean? It's being pulled, and you don't understand, and you don't, and all of a sudden, all the things that you used to do and you used to like, it's like it loses its value, it loses its meaning. You know what I mean? And that's what it is to like being chosen. And I had to write down several things. Okay, here's the interesting part, and I definitely wrote that down. Talk about the reading. When I first started my path, when I first heard the call or the pull, and I felt it. I remember because I was someone who was not in the church. And I knew that the universe was like, we've got to get to her. We've got to make her understand something's happening. But she's not going to church. I tried several different kinds of church and I got absolutely nothing from them, you know? And so the universe is like, we're gonna have to reach her from a different source, a different way, you know, a way that she can relate to, a way that she can understand. And for me, because I'm very, like, I'm that free spirit energy. I'm open to all things, right? And so for me, the direction that they chose for me was tarot. Okay. And hold on, you guys. Hold on. Okay. For me, it was tarot, and I will never forget when I first started on my path, and they were saying, you know, you're being divinely guided, and I was like, whoa, this is heavy, and but you know, I thought, you know, let me not, you know, read too much into it. But, you know, yet and still it was all happening and there's all these things and I'm trying to explain to my family, you know, and nobody was getting it, nobody was understanding, and I'm desperately trying to tell everybody around me something's happening, something is definitely happening. And there was this one day where I had this reading, and it said, "You're going to try to tell everybody what's happening, but they're not going to believe you." And I'll never forget that. I have a laptop, an old laptop in my closet that I still keep to this day because I keep saying that in the beginning, I didn't save them at the very, very beginning. But at a certain point, I said, I'm going to start saving these readings. So I don't know, something in me said, save them, save them. And then there was the day where I had this reading, this message, and it said, you're going to try to tell everybody what's happening, and they're not going to believe you. And I remember saying to myself, why wouldn't they believe me? Like, who makes that up? Who lies, you know, about something like that? Like, that makes no sense, you know? And sure as anything, there came that moment when I was trying to tell my daughter, and I'm trying to tell my son, I'm trying to tell my family, and everybody, you know, I remember my brother just politely nodding, like, okay, like, whatever, you know? And my daughter wasn't believing it. She's like, you know, just stop. And my son believed me, you know, initially, and then later on, of course, everybody came around. Okay, at least as far as my children, they were, when I started the channel for you guys to share what I was experiencing and learning and knowing. I think after a while they said, wow, you know, mom's serious. Something must be happening because mom's pretty serious. She started the channel and she's telling everybody, and I don't know, I guess something is happening, right? So there is that. You're going to experience something. To be chosen is to have that pull in that in a direction, and nobody understands you. And I wrote this down. You know, consider Moses. Moses is a perfect example of what it feels like and what it means to be chosen. Okay, he had the most perfect life. By all, you know, all accounts, this man had the dream life. He was literally poised to be, you know, the ruler of Egypt. You know, he had it. He had the world by the string. He had it. But I wrote this down, you know, everybody, you know, he started feeling things, right? And everybody around him thinks he's crazy. Nefertiti thinks he's crazy. His mom, you know, his Egyptian mom and everybody, you know, is like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You know, he said this, you know, he said, I do not know what power shapes my way, but my feet are set upon a path and I must follow. And that's what it feels like to be chosen. You don't know what's happening. You don't understand it. You have no idea where it's coming from. All you know is that you are being pulled in a direction that you have to go in. You have to. There's no thinking about it. and I will say this, the pull, it feels very peaceful. It's whatever your life was before, because look at it this way. Consider this. The world is chaotic, and it's energetic, and it's crazy, and it's bustling, and it's a whole nother energy. This energy feels peaceful. It feels purposeful. It feels directional, divine. It's all things good. That's all you know. Because why would you do it if it wasn't something good? You feel good. This feels right. This feels good. This feels purposeful. It just, everything about it, And so consider that. If you are wondering what it means to be chosen, consider Moses, who literally could have just said, you know what? Yeah, I'm feeling this thing, but let me just stop. I'm going to stop. Like, I'm getting ready to be king of Egypt, and I'm getting ready to have all this great life and the woman I love, and I'm there. But nothing in him would let him just let it go. He's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, but I got to go. And that's what it feels like to be chosen. That's what it feels like to be called. There's a inner knowing. There's a pull to something that feels so much bigger than yourself. That's what it feels like. And I wrote this down as well. Man, you guys, I am so hot. Give me just a second. I'm going to go get that fan because I closed the windows, and if I turn the air on, it's too much noise. So give me just a second. Otherwise, I'll be sitting up here dripping, and that's not cool. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Hopefully the fan isn't too loud, but it was hot. Like, it was a mess. Whew. Anyway. So I also wanted to say this. Being chosen is not without its challenges. Okay. As a matter of fact, I want to say this for you guys. Those of you who are chosen, those of you who have felt the calling, you can certainly understand this, right? And again, like it's just like, with Moses, there's, being chosen is not without its challenges, and for you guys, a lot of you can relate to this. You feel a call, you feel a pull, you have to go to it, but the universe, the Most High, your guides, your angels, whatever this is, whoever in the heavens is in charge of using you. They need you. You have to go through a process. You have to go through a process. I'll call it a purging. There's a purging that you have to go through, okay? Because clearly, the things you used to do before when you're in the world, you do a little drinking or partying or what have you, and so there's this I almost want to say like a purification, there's like, okay, we're gonna take this from you and we're gonna take that from you, but in its place, they're going to give you gifts. You're going to discover things about yourself. You're going to, because, being chosen is all about living a life of purpose. What's my purpose? What am I here to do? What do you want from me? Why is this happening? And so there's that. But in order for you to have all of that, they're like, listen, we're going to have to go through a cleansing process. Okay. So a lot of you guys get that. And the cleansing process in a lot of ways can come in the form of challenges. When Moses when he found out he was Hebrew, and everything in him said, no, I want to know what it's like to be Hebrew, because how are you going to have an appreciation and a desire to free these people if you don't know their struggle? You know what I mean? And this is that, so the Most High may say, we need you to do A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, or we're going to require this from you later on down the road. So you need to experience certain things, and ultimately these things, for everybody, it's different, those difficulties that you experience. And I was listening to someone earlier before I came on, and I was listening to this young lady, and she's talking about how she had to be homeless for 3 years, and it was very difficult. But and she said, just like all of us, everyone who has been called at some point says, what am I doing? Am I, maybe I'm wrong? Am I making a mistake? Maybe I should just give in. I should just go along. I should. But everything in you won't allow it. Right? And so there was that point when she was homeless and she had her kids and she was staying with her family, and she was questioning, like, maybe I'm making a mistake. Like, maybe I need to stop this. Maybe, because she was being called, and she started a channel. And she was talking about how ultimately her channel now takes care of her. She now has, she's not doing a 9 to 5 anymore. She's got a following and the whole nine. And so this is like that. Sometimes I was homeless once upon a time, so, and I feel like this is that, like I said, this is that purification, you're not, you're not doing the things you used to do anymore. You're now, this is where you learn to trust in the Most High. We'll say it like that. That's when you learn to trust in the Most High. Okay, because you have nothing and nowhere to go and nothing to do, but yet and still, you're you feel the call and you feel this pull, and it's like there's nothing in the world is going to stop you. I had family, my daughter and her father were trying very hard once upon a time to keep a roof over my head. I was in an extended stay, and they were working so hard and spending so much money, and I kept saying, just stop, let go. And they loved me so much that they didn't want to let go. They were trying, and they had their best interest at heart, and they just didn't want to see mom homeless and on the streets. But everything in me said, just let go. It's going to be okay. And the Most High guided my steps through homelessness, all the way onto the other side. And the same thing for that young lady, everything in her, there were times where she thought, hold on. I don't have all the windows closed. So I'm sorry. But yeah, there was times where she thought herself, maybe I'm making a mistake and maybe I should just go get a job and maybe. But everything in her said, no, keep going, keep doing. And she made it out on the other side. And she said, and there came that day, ultimately, when she left an area, I guess, that she used to stay in, and she got into another place. And she remembered when they handed her the keys to her apartment, and it was just a glorious thing, and she's able to continue doing what she's doing, and by the grace of God, she doesn't do a 9 to 5. That's what we mean. You're gonna have challenges. There's gonna be things, but these things, and for those of you who are going through something right now, I want you to consider this. The universe may be strengthening you in a way that you never considered. I've said it before. How do you know how strong you are if you don't go through something? If you don't go through the test by fire? And like I said, for everybody it's different. But I feel like, and I'm going to do another video. I don't want to go into that whole thing in this video, but trust and believe. Sometimes the universe kind of puts you through things or allows things, the Most High never allows something to happen unless it's going to benefit you. I found out that I was stronger than I ever knew. I was times where I definitely wanted to break down, but I found out through it all that you are so strong. Man, you are so strong. And this is God. It's like when Moses had to go through the desert, no food, no water, dying of thirst, and always driven forward. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I must have lost my mind. I could go back to Egypt and just be a slave and throw my feet at the mercy of Pharaoh, and he didn't do it. He always moving forward, you know, because this is what the Most High wants. He's using you. He's sharpening you. He's fine tuning you. He's making you something, you know. So this is what I mean. This is what it is to be chosen. It's a beautiful thing. It is not without its challenges. But if you guys are out there, if you are someone and you feel something, you can't put your hands on, you can't define it, you can't touch it, you can't, but it's there. It's there and it's pulling you. We need you to go this way. We need you to do this. Just do it. You know, along my path, I learned about crystals, you know, and I remember people thinking that I was crazy, you know, because I remember wearing crystal earrings and crystal, you know, jewelry and crystal necklaces. And they was like, you know, what is she doing? And that's crazy. And I will say this to those of you who wear crystals, keep doing that, because those things help me. My favorite was when I used to wear amethyst earrings, you know, because amethyst is chakra energy, you know, crown chakra. It's clearing out that is you know, connecting spiritually. It's an allowing, you know, a clearing of your spiritual self, you know, so that you can better receive the messages from the Most High. Sorry. But yeah, you know, it's that. I've said this, and I believe this. I absolutely believe this. The Most High, no matter, He's put everything here for our benefit. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter how minuscule. If there is something on this planet, and it is alive, and you think, well, crystals, you know, it's just a rock, and it's just this. Everything has energy. Everything has an energy, a frequency, and a vibration. Okay, so I will say this though, be careful though, because in China, they are making a lot of fake crystals, you know, so you could tell it almost sounds like glass when you tap it, you know. So I made a point of, even though I have my towers and I love them, and I checked, the rose quartz is the real deal, and I think the clear quartz is too. But I made a point of having raw crystals as well, because, you know, rose quartz invites the energy of peace and calm and love and harmony, you know, which is why and the clear quartz is crown chakra. Clear quartz vibrates to all of your chakras, right? So it's a cleansing and a clearing of all your chakras. So, and it always blows my mind. There's a gentleman who lives down the hall, and he says, you know, I have to get out of the house because if you stay in the house all the time, it makes you crazy. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, you know, why do you feel that way? And he's like, well, it just does. It just would make you crazy. You just can't stay in the house all the time. I consider the fact that, you know, I have this energy in my home. You know, it when I come in, aside, despite the crazy with the cameras, there, you know, there is that peace. You know, there's that calming. There's that serenity. There's that. You know, and then like the, you know, the clear quartz, the clearing of any negative energy. You walked out that door and you experienced a lot of negativity or ridiculousness, and so you come back in and here's that clear quartz to cleanse and clear your chakras, and then the rose quartz to provide peace and calm and harmony. It's a beautiful thing, you know. So yeah. I just wanted to just make a quick video, which it doesn't look like it's very quick. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I think it is, let's see, 24 minutes. But I just wanted to make a quick video, and for anyone, you know, like I said, you hear the word chosen thrown around a lot. What does it mean to be chosen? This is what it means. It's a knowing, a calling, an energy, a feeling of something that is drawing you in a certain direction, and no one and nothing can stop you from doing it. Nothing. You know, like I said, consider Moses definitely chosen. chosen seed, from birth. You are going to do this thing. Okay, he just didn't know. He was, and you're not supposed to. None of us are supposed to know initially. We're supposed to live our lives and be who we are. Those are the things that define us, shape us. And then it comes to that moment when it's time for the calling. It's time to be, chosen, and then you feel something and hear something, and everything is telling you, you're hearing something, feeling something, and you're like, I feel this, I hear this, I know this, to the point to where nothing no one can say will change it. You're going to do this. I'm doing this. This is happening, It's a beautiful thing to be chosen. For those of you out there who are chosen seed, you guys know it's wonderful. It's amazing. To live a purposeful life, a peaceful life, a beautiful life, it's a beautiful thing to be a tool for the divine, whether you're doing a YouTube channel, videos, whether you're in the world. A lot of the chosen seed are not online. A lot of the chosen seed have purpose out in the world, saving lives, being of service in some way. I've got a talent, I've got a skill, and I'm being called to use that talent, that skill, that gift. It was given to me by the divine, and they're saying, now it's time for you to be that, it's time for you to use that, it's time for you to do that. That's what it means to be chosen, or at least that's mine. And I don't think I'm wrong, because like I said, Moses is a perfect example. Noah is a perfect example. Back then there was no Bible to say do this, that, and the third. You just were. You knew of God. You knew of the Most High. You knew of this unbelievable energy that can shape you, mold you, direct you, use you, and there it was, I can't even imagine what it would like to be Noah and to be sitting up there and telling your family, I'm told I need to go make this ark, and everybody's looking like, are you sure? Like, imagine sitting amongst your children and saying, and you guys are going to help. We're going to do this, and we're going to be. If that story is true, try wrapping your head around that. At any point he could have said, this is crazy. They're right. People are laughing at me. Maybe I need to stop. This is wrong. And I'm no. And everything in you is going, yeah. You are going to do this. You are going to be this. And you just do it. A lot of times there isn't, you have doubts, but you still keep going. You keep going. So it's a beautiful thing to be chosen. If you feel that pull, if you feel that call. I did write this down. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to put it in this video or the next video? Probably this one, because I came across a video that said, why nobody wants to be Jehovah's Witness anymore. And I listened to the video, and he was talking about how particularly the young, there was a structure that was there in place initially, and then as time went on, they began to, edit, revive, and do, and because of that, people were like, well, it lost its specificity. We were different because we did these things, and now they're saying you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to be. And a lot of people felt like, well, that's what made it special, and if we're not doing that, then who are we? And they started walking away. I also heard a video where, and I've seen it, where a lot of the youth, you guys, are walking away from mega churches as well, church in general, because, I really debated on whether I even want to go into that. But bottom line, the truth is the truth. They were saying that a lot of the youth are walking away because they, it almost feels, you know, it just doesn't feel genuine. It's not. I was listening to a woman, and I said, she's absolutely right. Just because you get dressed and you get suited up and you go into this building and you sing a few hymns and you, you know, right. There's a point where she says, you're singing all these hymns, but you're checking your phone at the same time. Like, when is this over so I can get back out to the business of doing what I used to do, and a lot of people, particularly the young, are seeing it as almost, they're recognizing and realizing that you don't have to go to church to know God. I'll just say that, and you don't. I didn't. A lot of people are feeling more connected to God because, it's like I said, back in the day, there was no Bible. You know what I mean? There was no religious text. Just you and the universe and the universal energies, and they're guiding and directing people to their life purpose, their lives, showing them, guiding them, and they just knew. The Hebrews just knew of this God. They never, there was no book saying anything. Moses ends up becoming the one who, hey, this is going to be in the 10 Commandments, and it's going to be this, and and then there becomes this whole thing and whatever. But I don't know. Bottom line, you get what I'm saying. You don't. A lot of people are realizing that God is not the church. God is not the building. God is everywhere. He's in everything. He's in us. The church is in us. And so I feel like a lot of the youth are recognizing and realizing, and you guys are seeing there's a change. There is a change that's taking place in the world at this time. And I think that the young are probably going to take this into a different direction. I don't know. That's a whole nother subject, and I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. I'm just saying, a lot of people are leaving the church, particularly the young. Okay, the older ones are used to it. They're established. They felt this. We were raised and brought up in this, and this is the way it is, and da-da-da-da. But the youth see it a whole different way. And yeah, I'm not going to go too far into that. But like I said, that's the whole point of the video, is to let you know this is what it means to be chosen, to be called to go somewhere and do something, or say, or be, or by this energy, this force that is pulling you, guiding you, directing your steps. That's what it means to be chosen. And you know it. You don't know how you just know. And nothing in the world will stop you. Because why would you want to walk away from that? Like I said, the world is chaotic and crazy and bustling and this. But this energy is a different thing. It's something that's pulling you and it's calling you, and you don't. And you're like, what is this? Like, what is this? What am I feeling? What am I doing? I don't know what it is, but I know it feels good. And so much so that I'm just going. I'm following. And you try to tell everybody, you guys, there's something happening right now. I'm feeling something. There's something. And those of you, like that reading told me that day, you're going to try to tell everybody what's happening, and they're not going to believe you. Those of you who are chosen and you are just starting and feeling that, trust and believe, you're going to be the same way. You're going to be telling people something's happening, and if you come from a religious background and they're going, stop it, that's not happening, and they're going to try to talk you down and talk you out, and I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say, you know what, and don't listen and do. I don't even have to say it. You'll just do it. When you are chosen, you'll just do it. There's nothing anybody can say that will dissuade you in any way. So yeah, that's what it means to be chosen. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful, beautiful thing. And those of you who have heard that call, follow it, go. And those of you who are going through it, Do I want to? I'll save that for the other video. I'll save it for the other video. Okay. But anyway, so I just wanted to leave that. That's what it means to be chosen. It's a beautiful thing. Look, what do you guys think of that? I did Roku has backdrops now, and you can leave your TV on, and that'll be that. If you're somebody who mounts your television to a wall, it's like wall art, and I like that. That's beautiful. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hope you liked it. If you did, if you resonate with that, if you are someone and you felt that and you felt the pull and you hear things and everything is telling you, I need to go this way, or I need to do this, I need to do that, follow it. Follow it. It's gonna take you somewhere amazing, just like it did that young lady, and many others. There's a lot of people online I could give you guys examples of. I've heard over the years their story, and I go, see, sometimes we make mistakes, and God does not judge you. He chose me, and Lord knows I've made many mistakes, but yet and still he said, I want you. And some of you out there, you're thinking, God couldn't possibly want me. He couldn't possibly. If he chose you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to be that one who experienced that thing, whether it was dark or negative or ugly, and you're going to be that one who comes out on the other side and tells other people that, yeah, you can go through that, and the universe will still choose you. God still loves you, and he will use you the same as he did anybody else. He's not looking for perfection. He's just looking for you. There's something in you that he likes. And if you feel that call or you feel that pull, be happy, be proud. Oh my God, all of my experiences are not a waste. I've learned some things, and now I can share it with other people, and God is using me. How amazing is this? I told you, they don't let you go through anything you can't handle. Sometimes he allows us to make those mistakes. So, and he's like, great, did you learn your lesson? Perfect. I need you now to get over here and tell others about it so that they don't make the same mistakes you did. Or if they did make the mistake, to let them know you're going to be forgiven. All is forgiven. God forgives, Anyway, I'm going to go. I will talk to you guys. I got one more video, so I will see you on the next video. You guys have a great rest of your day. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, all those good things, okay? And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening, okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.